We're at IFA 2024 Day 3 and I'm in conversation with Mr. Rakeysh Om Prakash Mehra, and who doesn't know him, and we've watched his films, we've been inspired by his films. Rang De Basanti is cult, there are so many other films too apart from that. And the fact that yesterday we had a masterclass with sir, and it's so enlightening to hear about, and students interacting with you, and the fact that it's very easy to talk to you, sir. It's very easy to, the flow is very easy. You don't intimidate people, despite the repertoire of work that you have. And that's something that I always felt right from the time I met you for the first time, when we did a session with your book at the Sharjah Book Fair. Yeah, so this ease of conversation, you can start with that.
Interesting. I never thought of it like that. I think any conversation, the word conversation is not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. And unless you open up, the other person will not open up. So it's a give and take. Like you mentioned, it was a master class, but I end up learning a lot more because the questions people have, that film students have, is definitely makes you realize your mistakes.
Right, yes, that is very humble of you to say that, but the fact that just this kind of a conversation is so relevant and important for everybody, including the students and including people like us, press, who come and watch you. So that there's perspective, and we keep changing our perspectives as per every day evolve. Like you said in the masterclass, that you're not the same person who made Rang De Basanti. We evolve, we change, and there will be more sensibilities, more towards, there is a lot more which happens now. So, first of all, I wanted to know your first trip to the UAE. When was it, you remember? And what is that struck you for the Arab world? Because this country loves Indian cinema.
I think I came here for the premiere of Delhi 6.
Yes, at the Dubai Film Festival. I was there.
Dubai Film Festival.
Yes.
And, the impression was the same, which every time it repeats since then I've come many a times. It's the people, the warmth as such, the overall kind of discipline and the way the country works and the region works. There is definitely a sense of security out here. You don't feel threatened. It's quite clean. And when I say clean, not just in terms that the roads are clean or everything. It's pretty transparent as such. So yeah, and a lot of my friends have recently shifted
To
Dubai and all, and they're getting a lot of support from the establishment to establish the business and all that. I guess the taxation is also very stable.
Yes. Yeah, it's almost an India outside India. It's very, very similar. You don't compromise your language, you speak your language. You speak the language you speak in India, you can speak it here. You don't have to change the way you dress, the way you look. The climate is almost the same. Also, the Arab world's love for Bollywood, Bollywood is a wrong term to use, Indian cinema, has a lot of history in terms of the first stars who came to this country, or the first concerts that have come to this country. Rafi Saab se leke, a lot of people have photos of videos of them attending. Like I have this friend who's an Arabic, who's a blogger from Abu Dhabi. He went to watch Dharamveer when he was 4.5. His father took him to watch, and he's a big fan. And he's such a big fan of Dharamji that he has an Instagram page that says his name is Hamad Al-Riyami. He calls himself Hamad and that's the love that they have, and it's really, really heartening to see how well they speak Hindi. There are a lot of bloggers I know who cannot speak Hindi, but they can sing those songs. So there is something very, very beautiful about that cultural impact in this country.
100%. I don't think it's something which the movies have invented or cinema has invented. I think for thousands of years there's been kind of a cultural exchange between Persian Gulf, the UAE, and South Asia as such. And the channels have always been open as such. There is huge tradition of Sufi saints who travel across back and forth. There are footprints of Guru Nanak. There are so there is poetry, there's so much that's been written in Persian that have been translated into Indian languages and Urdu and vice versa. So it goes back a very long time, I think.
And there are so many words which are so similar when we speak to Arabs.
Absolutely, yeah.
And again, even the language, I feel Arabic as a language is a very live spoken language from so many years. It's not like it's not just a language which is used for a certain ritual. It is a well spoken language across. And the Arabs speak Arabic. It's not like they speak English. They speak their language. And how language can hold culture, a seamless culture across the world is what I find very fascinating about their culture as well. And so you've had different premieres here as well. I was there for Mirzia as well. I remember when you come for Delhi 6, I even remember Sonam's shoes were pink. Dark pink shoes you wear. So yeah, that was during the Dubai Film Festival. Mirzia, I have met you during Mirzia as well. We did a cover with Filmfare with Yami.
Okay.
So I remember those days, yeah. And of course, at the Sharjah Film Festival. So there has been this beautiful trace of Bollywood, of Indian cinema, in this part of the world. And culturally, it only enhances us, is what I feel. And for people like us who are expats who live in this country, nostalgia is our favorite emotion. We want to, in our minds, think of this as our country. And if we meet you, we think of you as a cultural ambassador of India who's come here to remind us again of things that we want to be reminded of. And your cinema, a lot of your cinema is very rooted in India. There's a soul of India in it. I'm saying that I'm not saying that other filmmakers are not, but you are very, like what you're wearing is yesterday what you wore was like a dhoti, which was like a day before for the masterclass. So what you wear is also what you project. I think there is a lot of India in what you do. So
I'm an Indian.
I know, but the sensibility is also. What I'm saying is the sensibility is also very Indian, because you need not be Indian in sensibility.
Even this jacket is made in a village.
Okay.
And it's
a patchwork, quilted.
It makes by ladies and in a village and all that.
Yeah.
So so I guess that's only natural, because if I am an Indian, so that's the way I'll behave. Those are my cultural roots, and that also gets kind of reflected in the movie that I make. So normally I would like to tell an Indian idea made in India, not a Western idea made in India. I definitely understand influences and intercultural exchanges, but I don't understand monkey business. When you copy for the sake of copying, or
because it works.
trends, or
Yeah.
fashion, or that's how it is, and all that.
Yeah.
It's there's something very intrinsically no, there's something very genuine about when you stick to what
To
you
your
know,
own, yeah.
to what you know, basically, rather than to what you borrow. So I would, if I had a shop and I was a carpenter, I would sell things which I make and comes from the wood that goes around it, rather than importing something and selling it. That will make me a trader, not a
Beautiful. I
trader.
like the way you said. Yeah.
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 So it's so rather than like just picking up ideas and
Fitting it to
and force fitting it. Those are fads. They will do well for sure because there is a connect.
There's an audience for
But
that.
they will, and more often than not, I've seen they don't have a shelf life.
Because they're not telling their story.
It expires.
Yeah.
So any fad will expire. But the things, I feel movies are there forever and ever and ever. They're not for just a Friday. So, and it all depends from where you are and what your upbringing is. That's what you bring in your book.
Also, it takes a lot of conviction to stand by that idea. Was it tough for you, or was it?
No, I don't think it takes
No.
conviction. It might take a bit of foolishness for sure,
Okay.
but conviction is like a very strong, courageous word. Right? It's something organic. It's something natural. It's something you do. So, and that's what resonates a lot.
Right. So when you started out to make your first film, was this conviction, not conviction, was this belief that you would want to tell your own story? Was it easy, or was it you had to?
I've never seen it as easy or difficult. If it has to be done, it must be done. If you feel about doing something, you do it. And that's the way I look at it.
Of course, Ramdev Santi is one of those films that we all go back to, and especially when we're looking at youth and looking at dreams and how do you want to change the world, and there is, and then the parallel to the freedom movement, which most of us haven't seen but have read and are still proud of. We haven't been in that era. How did that come to juxtapose this with that?
Well, I actually wanted to make a movie on the armed revolution of India against the British Empire.
It's 1857.
No, which was started in 1916 with Kardar Singh Saraba and ended around 1922 with the hanging of Bhagat Singh Rajguru Sukhdev. And in between, the pioneers were Shah Abdullah Khan and Ram Prasad Biswar. And then the baton went to Chandrasekhar Azad, who passed it on to Bhagat Singh. I wanted to make a story called The Young Guns of India, which was very much these young kids who left college and school.
Early 20s.
And you always used to wonder why they took the pen and picked up the gun. And they were like, early
used to
20s.
die, yeah.
No, early
20s.
The average age, all of them died overhung, is 23 and a half. So,
What would have
yeah.
been?
So, We did a script, we researched, it took us 2 years. And then I read the script to some youngsters in Bombay, and they just couldn't identify it. They were more into what will they be wearing, whom they'll be going out with, which American university they will be going to, what brand of Nike shoes are latest in the market.
It didn't matter to them.
No, there was no connection.
Yes.
I said I'll be wasting my time. If we had the exercise in Delhi and in Delhi, the point blank said it's not going to work. Because if there was Bhagat Singh today and as Gandhi, we are one week So we went back to the drawing board and we said, okay, let's tell the story of the young generation today and juxtapose it with the revolution. And let there be a documentary film. And these boys will act in a documentary.
The British
And then the spirit of the revolutionary young
be taken,
will take over the spirit of the boys today. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it's beautiful because it also reminds you in a very non-preachy way of them. And there are people like that still. And the fact that this was during your college days and this idea is also germinated.
Yes, they are all drawn from my school and college. Always draw from life.
Yes.
Any filmmaker.
Right. And you mentioned in the workshop that you were Sharman's character.
He was closest to me.
Okay. So tell us about your college days. You said that you were not one of those you were the quieter one.
No, college was fun, like for everybody else. It's you suddenly experience a very different kind of freedom. For 12 years, you've been wearing a school uniform and suddenly you're out of it and you're in your cities and there is no restriction. Freedom is there and you don't know how to handle it. So like so many others, I also didn't know how to handle it.
Unbridled.
Yeah, it's like what to do with this freedom as such. Fortunately, I was also into sports and used to swim for my state and for my country. And so that kept the extra energy channelized as such. Those were the foundation years, I would say, school and college.
And your childhood, tell me about your childhood. Your father was in the army.
No, my father was in a hotel. There is a book I'll get for you. It's called There's a Strange in the Mirror. It's my autobiography, so you'll get to know a lot about that.
I was very sorry. I yet to read it.
I'll share a copy with you.
Okay, so that's your child.
So we come from a humble background. Father was a bricklayer and mother was a background. We were 3 siblings. Like a lower middle class family, like millions of Indians. Only dreams you had was to get a job. And
secure your...
That was it. Finish your studies, get a degree, get a job, and that's contribute to the
So what
family.
about school? What was your school memories like?
School was incredible because I happened to go to Balbharti Air Force School. It's an Air Force school and our teachers were wives of airborne warriors, of wing commanders, of group captain, fighter pilots and all that.
Is that where that sensibility
that's where Rang something came from. Because in our school foyer we had this plane, the MiG-21 plane. Where we used to play around it and all that. So when the plane started crashing, it hurt you. and the statement of the defense minister then hurt you even more. And it was quite clear. There was a documentary called Coffins in Tricolor, made by NDT, which had exposed this corruption of faulty mechanism parts in me. So I had to weave a story around it as such. And, as a respect, as what you owed
To the people who really.
and to the mothers who lost their sons, to the sisters who lost their brothers, and the youth who pledged their life for the country but died in some stupid accidents where the plane would catch fire.
Did you have any friends who went through it? Anyone close?
No, a lot of my friends were flying,
Yeah.
but nobody,
Not a personal
not a person
connection.
connected. But that's the thing, what is personal and what is
Yes, exactly.
And what
The
is
wall is
not
broken.
personal. So
Yeah. It need not be your own.
yeah, it should. In fact, it should not be allowed. It is.
That's very selfish to actually look at it. That only happens to me, I'll make something out of it. It could be.
Yeah. So if you see injustice happening and you see it happening at a mega level, which is at a national level, where the greatest leaders of the nations are involved and the greatest establishments are involved, then to keep quiet, I would say, is the greatest exhibition of being a coward and not being
And an
a
enabler.
citizen.
And an enabler, if not opposite.
Yeah, totally. Your silence means you accept it.
They're saying
Yeah,
that, okay,
yeah.
it's fine, I
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah.
And this whole thing about, okay, it happened somewhere. It didn't happen in my city, it didn't happen in my village, it didn't happen in my street. That whole, there is an apathy, largely. That as long as it doesn't enter my premise, it's okay. The floods happened, it happened somewhere. The riots happened, it happened
Yeah,
somewhere.
100%. I know what you're saying. Yeah. And then one day it will happen to you.
Yeah.
It will happen to your sister, your mother, your son, your daughter, your son. And it will be too late.
And the sense of fear. And Delhi 6 has a very interesting monkey man
Kalabandar.
image, which is very strong as in even in a literary. Also, the fact that there was a certain incident regarding this.
Yeah.
At the same time, you've used it as a very interesting literary trope in the film.
Yeah, it was a metaphor.
Yeah.
The Babri Masjid had been demolished. That kind of moved something deep within. It was not anger, it was not anguish. It was just what's going on? Why is this happening? Why?
The fabric gets torn.
Yeah, these are words, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a solution to so many other things that were going on. There were priorities like economy and jobs and education and social welfare and women welfare, empowerment and upliftment of bringing the society together. And here we are talking about voting for a nation through religion. So I had to make a movie. It felt I should. Where we use the metaphor of this black monkey called the Kalabandar, which is inside you. So
Which is a monkey mind.
so it's all inside us, and it is up to us to feed that monster inside us, or to starve him to death.
Interesting. It's a very interesting analogy because I remember reading, I think Automobile Patriarch Gabriel Garcia Marquez has a cow. And I think Vishal Bharadwaj also used it in Motto Mandola, the pink cow. This animal imagery, which is probably so metaphorical to can say so many things. Like Animal Farm itself has a lot of analogy of animals, but means a lot more. Such a beautiful. I mean, the fact that monkey is an interesting thing because you also say monkey mind. To an unbridled sensibility. It's hopping from one place to another without really meaning much, but meaning a lot. How did you see audience react to that particular?
Audience, unfortunately, did not react well because I guess I challenged their belief as such.
Yeah.
Or they took it wrongly. They thought I'm challenging their belief. And that
It wasn't
never
the
the-
intention.
No, not at all. All I said was, you want to find Allah, look into the mirror. He resides inside you. And even Bhagwan resides inside you. So, you want to see Ram, he's
Right.
in the mirror. He's inside you. And there is just no difference between religions. So why are we doing that? Why are we demolishing mosques and breaking mandir in the name of religion? It's quite a mob mentality. But I guess the mood of the nation was not
That time.
to accept that movie at that point of time. Which is so, it was a heartbreak when it didn't work. But because it's a very personal work, I belong from Old Delhi. And,
Yeah.
So,
The cultures are very assimilated.
Yeah.
It's not very.
so
Also, there is a character of Atul Kulkarni in when there was there is there is a character which is a little towards fundamentalism.
in Rangdivas,
No, sorry.
sorry,
Yeah,
yes.
so I'm going back to
Okay,
a
okay.
certain sensibility, and then he realizes that it is not as tight as it used to be. He challenges his own sensibilities. So
Yeah,
So there is a certain, and I think most literature should be that way. That you start somewhere, but you, by the time you grow, and you grow into something more progressive, as per the director's sensibility, which is ideal.
I don't know what is progressive as such. I think every piece of work should be positive and as such, and it should emit positive vibes and energy, spread a lot of light, and bright light.
Right.
And to understand the bright side, you need to understand the darkness. Otherwise, they don't exist
Right.
without each other. So you got to have an exposition of darkness to understand the brightness. So that was the attempt in Delhi Sense. Even though it didn't go down well at the box office, it started off very well. But after 2 days, people realized they're saying that both Hindu and Islam religion are same. There's no difference. They're looking for the same higher power
truth,
out
yeah.
there. And it was more Sufi in its nature, the attempt.
Yeah.
But surprise of surprise, after a couple of years, say 5, 6 years later,
People got it.
The film started coming back, and it started growing. And
It's a beautiful film.
last year, Times of India gave a full page on its own to Delhi 6 on the 12th anniversary. And I was surprised.
Suddenly.
I was not even called for an interview. They just quoted me and
From
did
different
the
sources.
full page on their own,
Editorial.
and they felt it deserved it. It went to Venice, it went to various festivals, kept going, and then Channel 4 showed it, and it got among the highest rating Hindi film. So, yeah.
I know the songs, Masak Kali became so good.
Yeah.
Every other song.
That's Rahman, I think.
Also, it's in tandem with what your thought process as well. So it's an extension of what you would have also envisioned with him, and he would have given it music to your thought. Would you?
It's a give and take, and all the time, and it's amazing to collaborate.
You did mention that there's always been a A.R. Rahman era, that there is a pre and a post A.R. Rahman.
In the contemporary or the modern music
Same.
history of Indian music
Yes.
in the modern times, we used to talk about the golden era, the 50s and the 60s. Right? The modern era is before AR and after AR.
He revolutionized, and there's so much of there's a lot of. I think it's again like you said, he's true to his.
Yeah, he broke norms, not for the sake of breaking, but for creating something.
That is his sensibility. That is his natural
For
sensibility.
creating something so beautiful.
So now, when you mentor students and they come with scripts to you, what is that strikes? What would you look for in somebody? Like yesterday, there was a masterclass. People came and discussed things with you. What is that in a story that really takes catchable interest?
It's expression. That do you want to say something? That's about it. What is the reason for making the film? What is your and if she has, because a lot of us do things not knowing why we are doing it, or for God forbid for the wrong reason. But a lot of us also want to say something but don't know how to say it and how to go about it. Those are the ones whom you want to mentor and associate with whatever little knowledge you have, to share that and impart through your own experiences. And because you've seen more failures than success in life, and that's the way it works. So you can share your failures, so for them to understand that there are no shortcuts, there is a certain process. It is more a deep dive inside than something outside.
You also mentioned that there's a set of short films that you in Ladakh.
Oh yeah, 2 years ago we did some short film in Ladakh. We did I'm Ladakh.
Okay.
5 youngsters from Ladakh, from villages and from Leh. And they made 5 beautiful short films. I produced them.
And what were they about? About Ladakh.
Yeah, in Ladakh.
Okay, in Ladakhi as well.
Yeah, of course.
So regional, how important is it to say regional stories?
It's a very post-colonial complex. What is regional? That's so regional.
Also, regional today.
That is native. That is what is true.
Yeah. Also, regional is no longer regional because, I mean, I look at myself. I was born in Kerala. I'm a Tamilian, raised in Gujarat. Now, what is region for me? All these 3 states. So my sensibility doesn't come from one state. It comes across from 3. Probably for people who travel, come from 5 states or 10 states. So regional doesn't mean one region at all. Even within India.
Yeah, India though is vast. It's a subcontinent.
Yeah.
It's like outstanding. It's such a melting pot. That's what makes it so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so I think to prove ourselves for what, to whom, against what, against English, that's stupid. Against Western concept, that's stupidier. It's even more stupid. There's nobody to tell you as to
How you should, what you should do.
no, you know who you are. If you don't know who you are and what you belong to, then or what is your zone as such, what kind of animal you are, that's how. So you can't take a polar bear and put him in a desert, or take a camel and put him in Antarctica and say, now tell those stories. Let them tell their stories.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if there was a situation like that, that comes from another context of
100%.
history.
Yeah. And then you evolve. So, like a story for you is a story of a traveler who was born in Kerala and in the Tamil and grown up in Gujarat and now
in Dubai.
in Dubai.
Yeah.
If that is your story.
Right.
So that's how it evolves.
Right. Right.
But for me to sit in Mumbai and or in India and to tell a Western idea made in India is, I don't see a reason unless I spent all my life in the West. And that is what my subconscious is and my connectors
Naturally.
and my connectors. Yeah.
But there's a lot of, like they say that simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. So it's so difficult to listen to. Do you see it or it does not? Because you're also shredding away a lot of self-imposed vanity or many things to come to the core of what simplicity is. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, it's a complex one. It's a huge conversation, debates on simplicity and core. I think we are controlled by our minds mostly. If we let go of that, the mind itself, then we reach a place which is simpler. So if you're not caught up in our own heads, then start feeling things in a very different way.
And how do you see today's, because we are so surrounded by technology, so surrounded by the Instagram world, and it's a bombardment of so much of stimuli coming into, and to keep your storytelling intact, or probably partly influenced by these things. How tough is it, or how?
It's a choice. It's a matter of choice. I think it's all beautiful connectivity. I feel the social handles are amazing. It is up to you to follow what and what not to follow. If you want to go for madness, it's your choice.
But does it affect the right time? Does it affect sensibility? Because we have
like I said, it's a matter of choice.
So how do you keep yourself intact? How do you keep your inner space?
I don't give it that much weightage in my existence, as much I feel. So I don't have to look at my phone.
For valid, I mean, it's not like a validation. Yeah.
No, after I wake up, I don't look at the phone for an hour and a half. And before I sleep, I don't do that for an hour or two. So you don't need to. And even the daytime, you can keep it away and look at it after 2 hours. The world is still there. Nothing would have changed like each other. And so that's one. So yeah, each tool has its own, has both sides of the coin.
Right. Also, your film, your current film that you're working on is on the Mahabharata, and you said it's on Karna.
Yeah.
So why did you choose Karna? Do you find it
Not from today, right from Randeval Sunday time I've been wanting to explore this character. I remember having conversations with Amir on the sets about Karna, with Farhan, with Bhag and Kabal. And it always stayed with me. And then COVID happened and we all got locked down in a hole. And I was in my country home for 7 months. And after like 10 days, I said I might as well start writing, but some clarity happened because everything had slowed down. So I had the courage of starting Karna. And we wrote for the next 3 years. Now we are under production.
What is it called? Does it have a working title? It's called Karna.
Yeah.
And it'll have Amit still being.
No, Surya is playing.
Surya, yes, you mentioned Surya playing it. Oh, okay. Interesting. Is it a period drama or is it contemporized?
No, it's set during the Mahabharata universe.
Okay.
It's not, it's mythology. So it's not period. Period is something which is
You
like
can date it and say
dated like Alexander, Roman Empire, Egyptian Empire, Indus Valley,
Right.
Mughal Empire, what British era.
Right.
This is mythology. So it will have its own universe.
And there's a lot of tragedy associated with this character.
Oh yeah, he's the greatest tragic hero. In fact, the greatest of Salim Javed's writings and Amitabh Bachchan's character is based on Karna.
He has a wronged.
Right man on the wrong side,
Yes, I think
bastard child.
I've never seen this sensibility, but it is
No,
they have spoken about it.
so many times. They borrowed from Karna, and Amitji himself has told me that his career belongs to Karna. It's all about that.
Yes, right. I probably missed that out, but yes, it's so true.
Yeah.
It is so true. And he's never has moments of respite. It's always been, I mean, the way we have seen him being portrayed or read about him. The softer side is only his relationship with Duryodhan, which is also the fact that he gives him his pride. But the rest of it has always been, you never know the man.
I have my own interpretation. I hope you like.
Of course, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a sad story somewhere. You want to root for him. And there's one part of the Mahabharata somewhere I read where they said that how did they not see that he had all the qualities of all the 5 Pandavas? And they didn't see it. There's one somewhere I read about.
That's the beauty. When you wear glasses and see the world through those, it all gets tinted. Even today, we all see or perceive life through perceptions, not for what it is.
And your son and his film, tell me about his...
On that you'll have to speak to him. I'll share
there's
the number with you.
Oh yes. Also the fact that he's always been interested in cinema, it's
I don't know when it happened. Like 2 years ago, he was in college and he said, I'm not coming home for summer vacation. He was studying in the US and studying international relations.
Okay.
I said, fine. He said, I'm doing a job. I'm taking a summer job. Great. World Bank or something. Or UN or something. And he worked in the production house for a while. And then he comes back and wants to.
That's interesting. Telling stories again.
Yeah, you tell me which is the movie you wanting to make. Yeah.
What about, so do you watch OTT series, and is there anything that you enjoyed watching recently that has impressed you?
It's absolutely amazing that you have now a choice and choices
Yes.
of private viewing. And at your own convenience, at your own time.
And the intervals are at the click of your pause button.
I hope you don't pause because it keeps you engaged. Normally I would not like to pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some great stuff going on.
Anything that you enjoyed watching?
It's
Because there's so much of choice today.
everybody is enjoying it. There's so much out there.
Yeah.
I love Fargo, I love Black Mirror, I love Color, Killer Soup,
Yeah.
Patal Lok, Family Man. It's like, also now you get to see original, so wonderful, and also you get to see
Different languages.
a lot of movies from different languages, whether it's Korean or Tamil or Telugu, just so Maharaja of Vijay Sethupathi completely blew me over. I thought the best film of the decade in the last 10 years I've ever seen. And it's outstanding.
So talent is now exploding. In a way, it's that showcase which is. At one point there was, I mean, it has resurrected so many careers of so many actors, especially OTT, and has made it, I think, people see it for what it is. So how do you see cinema, the big screen, competing with OTT now?
It's not a
Is there at all?
It's a coexistence. So you go out to eat in restaurants and you cook at home.
Yeah.
Where's the conflict?
Right.
They both have their own meaning.
Also, cinema is an experience to most of us. It's one of our daily or weekly routines for a weekend out. It's usually going out to watch a film. But do you see subjects change? Because the big screen now has to also include what people eat at home. Does it? Do you see that difference?
The beauty is that nobody can predict or say what the change will be. It will be foolish of me to start saying, this is what I feel, how it's going to be. Yes, what I look forward to is being surprised by something and which like makes me fall off the chair or hit the ceiling and say, where did that come from? How did that happen? Why didn't I think about it? How the hell could this person imagine it this way?
The wonder.
That wonder is what keeps you wondering and waiting.
Right.
Not that, oh, I now in theaters there'll be big ticket numbers like Avengers and Avatar, and small screen will take away the dramas. And
Right.
all that is
Relative.
it's irrelevant as discussion altogether. Means nothing. What does it mean? And ultimately, how does that change the life? It does nothing. So what? If the Avatar and the screen and this one, how does that matter? It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just given you more choices.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
But what has it done to writing? Has it improved?
Writing has existed for thousands of years.
Right.
It's been like outstanding. Just that writing for cinema is now evolving in South Asia.
Right.
Our earlier writers came from playwright,
Right.
and which is very different from writing screenplays. So now writing screenplays is becoming more of art and a science. It's a discipline to learn. And it's not about big sounding dialogues and stuff like that.
It's a story that touches you. Basically, people want to be fired by something.
There's a lot going on there.
This can continue, sir, because you're like one. I can keep talking to you, and there is so much to learn. But thank you for speaking to me, and it's always a pleasure to speak to you, sir.
And we should leave things for the next time.
Yes, we should.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.